What's up, guys? Hey, welcome to the show, the Weighing In Podcast. I'm here joined tonight by my boy, Podcast Dave. He's going to be helping me hold it down for a little bit. Obviously, you guys can tell he's giving the fist bump. I'm losing my voice a little bit. I had a couple of Vice interviews today, like Vice TV interviews today, talking about the history of the sport and spending some time talking about past fighters. A little bit emotional, I think, somewhat, knowing close guys and close people that are going through a lot of stuff right now. And so, it was a lot. It had me reflecting on the early UFC days to, the Strike Force days, the Pride days. The fact that I fought in Pride, I fought in the early UFC, I fought in Pride, then I fought in Strike Force, and just the connections I had with a lot of those guys. All the way from, obviously Phil Baroni, Mayhem Miller, Nick Diaz, the group of guys that just, came up in the early days of the UFC, a little bit in the Pride days, and then Mark Coleman and those guys as well. So Don Fry, you've got a big group of people that we were having conversations about today. So it was a long day of filming. So voice is a little raspy. Hope you guys can deal with it throughout the show. But keep an eye out for that. They did a great series on some guys. The first like docu-series was a group of them that they have already launched. That was season 1. They're doing season 2 right now in the filming and recording of that. So just keep an eye out. It's on Vice TV, and it was a good little segment that we did today. And take a look at it. Take a look at it when it comes out. Dave, we have a lot of things going on. I know Dana had some announcements today. Announced a big time fight, and but then there's also a lot of things going on right now on X. Some fighters calling out each other. Some fighters searching for fights. Some guys like Khamzat Chimaev really kind of taking a dig, saying that, hey, I want that 205-pound title. I want to chase it up there. Alex Pereira has been avoiding me, and he wants that fight. And for me, I take a look at that fight, and I think to myself, I see no reason to do that fight. You're taking a guy who is considered a star at 185 pounds in Khamzat Chimaev, and you want to
you hate him.
I don't hate him.
I'm joking.
I don't hate him.
That's what the chat thinks.
Yeah, that's what the chat thinks. No, I don't hate him. He's a very talented fighter. I always said the verdict was out on him. For me, I didn't have a big enough sample size on whether his cardio could last. And what we saw was a very dominant performance over a very good fighter in DDP. And we got the normal response from MMA fans was, oh, DDP was never that good. As soon as somebody loses, they were never that good. They've been exposed. It was what do they call it? It was they were fraud checked. And in no way was DDP fraud checked. He just can't wrestle at the level of Khamzat Chimaev. That is very similar to what I think you would get if you put Alex Pereira against Khamzat Chimaev. And I also think if you are with the UFC, if you are the promoter, put your promoter hats on, guys. If you're listening to this show right now, understand that I look at things from all different ways. I had this conversation the other day with Angelo. I'm an X's and O's, guys, when it comes to my podcast. When it comes to this, I want to talk about how he could have slipped this way, how he could have done this, and how she could have gotten the takedowns, or how she could have tried to, work harder for the 1-2 combination and then hit the takedowns. I'm the X's and O's. But also, too, what it comes down to is I'm also the person that has been on the other side. I'm really close with top-level promoters, from Scott Coker. I was not very that close with Dana, but I had great conversations with the guys who ran, Pride, basically, and worked closely with, some top managers that managed a lot of the top-level fighters that were in Pride, that were in Dream, and then in Rise. And so having those relationships, understanding what a promoter is really looking for, what Dana White is looking for. And I would say with 99% certainty, he is not looking to see Alex Pereira lose to a 185-pound fighter. And he's definitely not looking for Alex Pereira to be taken down and controlled and dominated from the top position. That makes his 205-pound weight class look weak, and he doesn't want to do that. That weight class is already struggling. He wants to avoid that fight at all costs. That, on top of that, there is bigger fights for him to be had with Alex. Him and John Jones is a bigger fight than Chimaev and Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira and Cyril Gane is a bigger fight than Chimaev and Alex Pereira. There is multiple fights that will do bigger numbers than Chimaev fighting Alex Pereira. So you have to put your promoter hat on when you're having this conversation about who do we want to see Chimaev fight. I do want to see him go up. I don't want to see him bite. I don't want to see him fight one of the most exciting fighters who is predominantly all striking and all stand-up. But that weight class, that's exactly what that weight class is. They're almost all stand-up fighters. Let me go through this. I'm going to take a look at it. You got Alex, you got Ankalaev who can wrestle. But will Ankalaev and Chimaev fight each other? That's you hear all the time fighters from that region have a tendency to not fight each other. They find ways to get around not having to fight each other. And would that fight actually happen? And would the UFC even want to put that fight on? That's another question. Then you go to Yuri Prochazka. Yuri Prochazka, no matter what you think of him, I think he's a very fun fighter to watch. I don't think he's the most technical, but he's very exciting to watch. I love watching him fight because you don't know what he's going to do. So Yuri and Chimaev. Chimaev, I think, can dominate him in terms of taking him down, controlling him. He has struggled with Yuri's struggled with wrestlers before. And when he fought Nemkov the very first time, and then when he fought Glover was able to take him down several times. Carlos Olberg, I don't know how great his wrestling is. It's not as good as Chimaev, I can tell you that, though. He's got power, he's got boxing, he's younger. That is an interesting fight. He's got the power to knock Chimaev out, but I think the wrestling will definitely take over. And how many times can he take Carlos Olberg down? I think he can take him down at least 2 or 3 times like he did against DDP. And in that case, I think he dominates that fight. Same thing with Khalil Roundtree. Same thing with Jan Blachowicz. As you get further down, I mean, you get to like Ozdemir, Volkan Ozdemir, Jamal Hill, as podcast Dave likes to call him, Dominic Reyes, Bogdan Guskov, like all those fighters, predominantly all strikers. So I don't have a problem with Chimaev going up, just understanding that if I'm the promoter, okay, what am I doing with Alex then? I'm taking Alex to the next level. He's going to fight John Jones, or he's going to fight Cyril Gahn, or he's going to fight Tom Aspinall. I honestly believe his next fight will be a John Jones fight, or it'll be a Cyril Gahn fight if Tom Aspinall can't defend his title soon. I think they will make that an interim title fight, and they will fight for the interim title. And then in that process of whoever wins that fight, when Tom is ready to come back, you've now built up an even bigger fight. That's the way that I look. That's the way that I look at that. When Khamzat Chimaev is calling out Alex Pereira, I understand why he's doing it. He knows, look, he's the champ. I'm the champ. I'm going to go right up and fight for the title. But the UFC doesn't want anything to do with that fight. It does not make sense whatsoever to promote that fight, especially knowing where we are headed. Laura Sanka came out the other day and said, look, she said something along the lines of the fighters that have a tendency to wrestle, or can you pull this up? I don't want to misquote her because I don't want it to look, but she said the quote. Laura Sanko.
Where did you see it? Do you know?
I think it was on X, Instagram and X, I believe. She just had a comment basically saying that the UFC is going to continue with the I think it was done in an interview, Dave. So I'm not sure if she put it on her site. There will continue to be more entertaining fights and less wrestlers. It was kind of, I'm paraphrasing, obviously, something along those lines. So in no way do I think that the UFC is thinking to themselves, yeah, let's make Khamzat Chimaev fight one of our biggest pay-per-view draws. I don't think it's on hers. I think it's like on MMA Fighting or
I'm looking at
yeah,
I'm just like searching her name to see.
Yeah, I think it's like in media stuff. And when she said that lets you know, like, there's no way that they are going to look to have someone like Chimaev coming off of the win that he had, and also to not defending the title and going right to 205 to fight Alex Pereira, knowing that Alex was one of the biggest pay-per-view draws that they had. Even though pay-per-view numbers were down, he was still one of the biggest draws. He's extremely marketable. He loves to stand. His takedown defense has gotten better. He's got that look about him. What did she say?
She believes in Islam. She believes, let's see. Talks up Michael Morales. Is that the one?
No, it was something about how they will continue to release fighters or cut fighters or dial back on the wrestlers. Something along those lines. and that there's going to be more entertaining fights in 2026, and they're going to have to make adjustments or something along those lines.
All right, you keep going. I'll read through for it.
But what I was saying was, if you guys are listening to this, if you are the promoter, you have to remember, like, I'm taking my money guy. My money guy is Alex Pereira. Chimaev's a money guy as well. And that normally would make sense if they were similar styles, where one didn't have a clear advantage in the wrestling department that gets his fight to the ground and dominates the fight. Yeah, what you got? Yeah. You got it?
She said, I think the trend is going to continue to be violence. There's so much talk now about rewarding violent fighters, rewarding finishes and fighters striving for finishes. There's a feeling in the atmosphere that with this new broadcast partner, we need to show these people what fighting really is. We're going to have a new audience. What electrified people early on was the storylines mixed with these fighters actually going out there and what they do. The fighters who emerge as stars will be the ones delivering those incredible finishes. Back in 2013, Kenneth Foreign revealed, blah, blah, blah. It's not hard to see that, though. Sorry, that thought I had it there.
But that's very similar to what I was talking about, though, is that they're looking to put on more exciting fights. And what she means by that is, like I said, once again, I'm like kind of putting words in her mouth. I don't want to do that, but it's that they're looking for the fighters. They're going to try to reward the fighters that are standing, trading, banging, making it a very exciting fight. Pride had in their contracts, and so did Dream, because they basically were run by the same people. Is Pride had in their contracts and Dream had in the contract, because I fought for both, was we will always have you back if you have an exciting fight. Like, they didn't care as much if you lost.
Is it where she says they can't, with a new broadcast partner and potentially massive influx of casual viewers, one thing is clear, the UFC cannot afford boring fights, and behind the scenes it sounds like the promotion knows it. Is it that? Yeah. I mean, I can't tell if that's quotation. The problem is this article is not, it's from Reddit, so it's not like a real article. It's like a copy-paste type thing, but it doesn't show the quotations properly.
Got it.
I think it's the gist of what you're saying, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they're gonna look, we've seen just as of recently, like fighters, Fakardinov being let go, Mokaya being let go, contracts not being renewed, and just kind of Arman not getting the fights. Now, I know Arman's done some other things. Mokaya was difficult to deal with. I'm sure there's 1,000 reasons on why these things are happening. But we have seen, though, they are moving away from the fighters who have a tendency to wrestle, the fighters that have a tendency to, just control fights and not do damage from the top. Khamzat didn't do a lot of damage from the top when he fought DDP. He was in a great position in the crucifix, but it wasn't like there was massive blood. It wasn't like DDP was swollen all over. It looked like the Elephant Man. That was not the case. For someone who controlled 25 minutes of the fight, DDP didn't look any really worse for the wear in comparison to someone who they got destroyed for 25 minutes. My point is that this fight, I believe, will never happen. You have somebody who is 38 or 39 years old in Alex Pereira, who's a big draw. They're looking for the big money fight right now. They want to suck the last little bit of money out of him that they can. And the fighters to do that with are not in the 205-pound division. They're not there. So I look for Alex to go to heavyweight, and I think his next fight will be at heavyweight. It'll either be Cyril Gane or it'll be John Jones. Those are the only two fights that I believe the UFC is looking to capitalize on with him. He's got 2 more fights, maybe 3 more fights. He may fight into 40 because you can do it at a heavyweight. You can do it at a heavier weight, 205 and heavyweights. You can do it. Glover Teixeira had success at an older age because he can do it. Jan Blachowicz still having a little bit of success because he can do it. You can fight these weight classes at an older age. The heavier weight classes you can. In the younger and the smaller weight classes, you can't, because once your speed goes, those guys will just chew you up. Speed kills, and that's a fact. You get to 170 and below, those weight classes, guys are fast, and you're starting to slow down and getting older, you're just getting eaten up. You can get away with it in the upper weight classes. Khamzat, I think eventually, I think the UFC is going to force him to defend his title at least one time. It's going to be at least one. Yeah, what you got?
So X213 the King super chats, based on Khamzat's history, missing weight, inactivity, moving up in weight after missing 70 so many times, will will be the reason Dana that doesn't entertain any of his requests?
I think it really just comes down to the numbers. I think ultimately it'll come down to the numbers and how Chimaev is a draw, and he's a draw. We can't deny that. He's got a whole hemisphere basically like that supports him. They love him in that region of the world. So I think that the UFC will entertain whatever he wants, but they are not going to entertain the fact that he wants to fight one of their biggest draws. We're not going to kill one of our biggest draws going into a new TV deal. It's not going to happen. If he's going to lose, he's not going to lose to a 185-pound champ. We want him to lose to the GOAT, or we want him to beat the GOAT in terms of John Jones, or they want him to beat the heavyweight. They want him to have that opportunity to fight for his third UFC title and to do something no one else has ever done before. And then to do it in the time frame that Alex Pereira has done it in. Let's not forget how many fights he has. What has he got? Like 13 fights in total? And he's done it all within what, 6 years? Something like that, 6, 7 years. I mean, it's pretty damn impressive. And if you're looking to say, hey, this guy can be considered the greatest of all time by fighting John Jones, and if he beats John, and they can fight at heavyweight, he can have the potential of beating John Jones, the GOAT, and he has the potential of winning his third title. Something no one's ever done in a major promotion. He has that opportunity and that chance. I don't see them matching up Chimaev no matter how much he asks for. Now, if Alex goes up, I can see Chimaev just going up to 205. Chimaev can beat all those guys. But I look for the UFC to matchmake him against Amavov or Sean Strickland if Sean Strickland gets the win. Those are the two guys that I can see them matching him up. Sean's got a good name, a big name, I should say. And Sean and him have trained together. There's a story there. There's something to be had there. Imavov is just somebody who legit has been waiting patiently and hasn't said shit on social media about giving him a hard time. He's just, whereas you got like Arman. Arman's not giving him a hard time. He's just out there. He's making sure that he's out there. He's wrestling at Raw. He's, doing, influencer stuff, like he likes to say, beating up on fat kids, those type of things. Like he's keeping himself relevant in the news. Whereas Imavov seems like he's in the gym, just constantly training. I saw an article with him recently. He just said, I'm just focused on the title fight. I'm just training and getting better every day. Every day I'm grinding. That's a big deal. He's only focused on one guy, and that's the champion in Khamzat Chimaev. So I don't see this fight happening. I know I kind of gave you guys the full runaround on that, but I don't see this fight happening. I could see Alex going up to heavyweight. I can see Khamzat Chimaev defending once, maybe twice, and then going up to 205. I think he'll have a lot of success at 205, given the list of fighters that are there. Predominantly all strikers. Predominantly, like, most of them have mediocre wrestling at best. Most of them. Uncle Live is probably the one that has the best wrestling out of all of those guys. So, what else you got for me?
Yep. You want to hop in this next one here?
Oh, I wanted to say X213 the King. Thank you for the $10 super chat. And then I see that Sports 2 cents.
Oh, you want to get to his first?
Yeah, let me get to yours first at the $5 super chat. I want to thank you, man. Thanks so much. Says, what do you think about Colby versus GSP and RAF? It's not RFA. It's RAF. RAF. Yeah. Here supporting the channel. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thanks for the great job you do. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. And hey, man, thank you so much for just listening. And I like the positive input. Do I think it'll happen? No. Would I like to see it happen? Absolutely. I would love to see that match. Colby looked great against Luke. I went back and watched it. I was like, damn, it was very dominant performance, very controlling. But we expected that. I mean, you should have expected it. I thought maybe Luke would be able to get in like on a body lock and give a lift because he's so tall. He would be able to control the front headlock, and kind of get to the side and kind of lift and scoop once Colby went to stand up or lay flat. I figured somewhere in there, Luke might be able to sneak something because of his reach and his height. He'd be able to lift and scoop and at least Matt return him or something along those lines. Didn't happen. Nothing. But do I think GSP and him would be fun? It'd be fun for me as a fan. I mean, I don't know how well GSP would do. He's been inactive for so long. You know, he's 40 something years old. And the fact that he's 40 something years old, I mean, it's wrestling is the last thing you want to do all the time. So if you're going to break it down, boxing and kickboxing is a lot easier than wrestling, period. Wrestling is just, it's torture when you break 40 years old. I think when you're like 37, 38, you're like, man, I got to wrestle again. Ugh. Wrestling just kills your body, just kills your body. So, but I love that. I love that call out, Bo, by Colby. This is Podcast Dave's number one fighter. He's like the number one fan too. He's got like a Colby like mural in his house and shit. It's so wild and shit. Like he's got like the fake Colby belt. He's got all that stuff, man. He loves it. He loves Colby. The Colby, what?
Game loves game. Game respects game.
Is that what we're calling this? Game loves game. I love it. Yeah, like I loved. I would just anything to bring GSP back into I think the spotlight. I think everyone would love to see it. I mean, like whether it's wrestling, whether it's a jiu-jitsu match, you know, if it was like a just a fun little, I don't know, whatever you could do with GSP to bring him back into the fight scene. I think a lot of people would chew it up and eat it up. Love it. What else you got for me, Dave?
All right. Yeah, let's hop into the story now. We have the Ilia Topuria comments about Ilia Topuria by Matt Brown. His quote was Ilia comes back, but the bolder prediction is that he loses. He comes back too soon, still dealing with all the bullshit, and ends up losing because he's not in the right headspace.
Yeah. I had this debate with Angelo on one of our bad takes. You guys can subscribe to us over there on that channel as well. Hit the like and subscribe button on this channel. I want to thank you guys for continuing to support the Weighing In podcast. That was my biggest fear, is that this is a very emotional situation that he's going through. Kids not being with you. Now he's getting his kids back. I believe he's got his son back or daughter. I'm not sure if he has a boy or a girl, but you know, he's getting his kid back into his house, able to spend time with his kid. And his wife's not able to leave and go to Miami and take the kid with them. Now she has to stay there until they finalize the divorce. These are all things they're very emotional. And how is he going to handle it when he's now a single father? Like having care is your child. You don't want to leave your child alone. There's a lot of emotions that are going to be going on for him mentally. You don't want to leave your kid even if it's with family. You're still like, I should be spending more time with my kid. You've got them 3 on, 4 off. You got them 3 on, 4 off, 4 on, 3 off. Like however the court rules it, it's normal. Like you split days. And during a fight camp, you're splitting your days, but you're not really spending as much time or quality time that you would like to spend with your kid. Before they had mom. And dad would go to the gym, and then dad would come home and be the fun dad, or having a moment to spend time with the kids. Now, mom's not going to be there around, so the child is with, I don't want to say strangers, but the child will be with family probably. But in that process, dad's not there, and mom's not there either. That's a big deal. The emotions that he's probably going to go through, fighting will probably not be a high priority. I know it's how you make your money. I know it needs to be a priority. I was that guy, man. I didn't wait to have kids until I was almost done fighting. I was just like, I just know how selfish this sport is. How selfish you have to be if you want to be a top athlete. And that's where he finds himself right now. It's I feel for him, man. As a father, as you know, someone who's a husband, like all these, I understand. I get where he's coming from. And when Matt Brown said these things, I've been saying this for the last probably 2 weeks, is that I don't want him to come back too soon. Everyone's like, oh, he needs to fight or strip him. Dial it down, guys. Like I would be comfortable with him if he wanted to relinquish the title. If he said, you know what, I'm just going to vacate and I'll be back. And when I'm back and I'm ready to do this and I have my stuff all ordered, you guys can fight about it. I come back. The UFC, I think, would love to honor the fact that you stepped away, you freed up the division. There's drama here going on. These guys are fighting for your title, and you come back and you say, you're all fighting for second best. I vacated, let you guys fight for the scraps, and now the king is back. It makes sense. I think that would be a great approach. But I'm also not mad at him if he decides not to do that. If he decides to keep the title until he's ready to come back, I don't care. And then they can throw an interim title in, which is what they're doing. And let all the dust settle in between then. And he'll just fight the winner when he gets back. The UFC loves him. He hits a market that they really have never been to in Spain. That's a whole new market for them. And that is the history of the UFC. Is find a fighter from Canada, find a fighter from Australia, find a fighter from New Zealand, find a fighter from the UK, find one from Ireland. Find a fighter that a country can support, and now we hit that demographic. And now that country now is just, now they're just printing money out of that country. That's how you build a promotion, and the UFC is doing that. So, Dave, I feel like, did we lose the feed?
Yeah, YouTube went down or dropped the feed or whatever. So I'm still recording. We're gonna finish the show and then we'll get it published right away.
All right, sounds like a plan. Cool. Look, I think that I don't want him back until he's 100%. Until he is focused on being the best again. I don't want a second tier Ilia Topuria. We've had the best Topuria so far, and it just keeps getting better every single time. I want that Topuria. I'm in no position tonight, I'm in no position tonight to throw shade at him for anything. He's handling his business like a man. He's fighting for his kids. He's going through it right now. And if he decides to vacate, great for him. If he decides to hold on, great for him. Whatever sets his mind at ease and gets him back in as fast as possible. I'm looking forward to that, but I want the best one. I want the one that is got his life situated and can focus directly on being the best fighter he can possibly be. And I think every husband, every man should want the same thing for him. They should all want to support somebody who's taking care of business on the father side. We should all be supporting that. His family and his kids come first. I admire that. I love how he's handling it. Good for him. What he decides to do with the belt is on him. Whatever makes it easiest for him. Hopefully we see him back and we see the best one we've ever seen. We see the best Ilia Topuria we've ever seen. What else you got for me there, Dave?
All right. You wanted to look at this Golden Globes thing with the UFC fighters coming out as security, quote unquote. So I'll play the video here and then get your reaction.
Some extra security from the UFC. Got to bring in some.
I'm gonna take, because I thought he nailed it. I'm gonna take the Brendan Schaub approach. Very cringe.
Why?
Very very, very cringe. Like have them come out. They had gloves on. You're at the Golden Globes. Like people are dressed to the fucking hill. Like they're dressed, suited and booted. They got Sunday's best on. Like what I don't know. It just was very, I understand they wanted to roll them out, let people know we have UFC fighters now or on CBS. I just felt like if you wanted to do it a little bit more respectfully and with a little bit more to give them a little bit more clout, give them a little bit more of a platform, they should have had them, announce one of the awards. They should have had them come out and say, hey, Mackenzie Dern, the flyweight champion or the strawweight champion, and then Brian Ortega, the former, title challenger. Like they could have done that.
But are we making a bigger deal about that than that needs to be made? Because it's like so what? They just brought them out as a way just to highlight the UFC's on Paramount now and bring them out, say they're extra security for the next presenters, and then they walk off. Like Brian and Mackenzie, they're not like trained celebrities or actors, like, and they're also walking out in front of like the best actors in the entire world. So I feel like
Ye-
when like, why is it cringe if they just come out, they do a little tough guy pose, and then they walk off again? Like, it's kind of fun.
I look at it this way. Mackenzie is considered probably one of the best looking females in the sport. Am I right, Dave, or no? Or am I right?
Depends what you're into.
Okay. Brian Ortega, considered to be probably one of the best looking guys, one of the better looking guys in the sport. Green
Agreed.
eyes, like, a Hispanic guy, like, fluent in Spanish. Like, my personal opinion was if you wanted to really knock the ball out of the park, you should have had him come out suited and booted because he's a good looking guy. He's not small for the weight class. He's tall, he's slender. Had him in a nice suit, had her dressed to the hilt. Like, you could have knocked it out of the park with the
If
two of
they're-
them.
If they're dressed up though, how are they different? How do they look different? Like, how do they have that badass look that is different
You
from
don't
like,
want a badass
the
look.
actors?
You
Why
want to
not,
let
though?
them, but you want to let them know because actors and actresses, like, sure, they're badasses, but the fact that they can get dressed up every time Ronda Rousey went on Jimmy Kimmel and Conan and all the other late night talk shows, that's all this really is a late night talk show.
Yeah, but it's
Like,
not.
no one-
But it's not the same presentation. Though. Here, what they wanted to do was say, "Hey, look, we have this new thing. It's UFC. This
Mhm.
is what the UFC fighters wear when they come out to the octagon, and they're badasses. They wear these cool gloves, and they have these jackets that say UFC on." I feel like that presentation was different than like Ronda going on Conan. Of course, like it's like it's like it's like The Rock and Jumanji. The Rock doesn't go on Conan dressed as the guy from Jumanji. He goes on in his best button down shirt with it buttoned halfway down and like showing his pecs, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's different in that regard. Like, here I felt like there was a purpose for the presentation. Does that make sense, or do you not agree with that?
I mean, I understand. I kind of understand what you're talking about, but everybody that has reported on this has been like, that was weird. I mean, you literally just rolled them out there. There was nothing. You just had them walk in a circle and then walk out. It would have been better if they could have heard him speak or her speak. Would have been better if they would have presented an award. I think it would have been better if you just seen her dressed fucking gorgeous and then him dressed fucking like a fucking dime. Like, if you would have had the two of them dressed up, looking like they belonged there, I think they'd have been like, damn, who's that guy? I got to see that guy
but
fight.
see, this was 10 years ago, right? You just right before you fought Tony, and UFC's like, hey, we're gonna have you walk. We just did a deal with Paramount. We're gonna have you walk out of the Golden Globes. How do you think you would feel knowing that you're about to walk out in front of like all the best actors in the entire United States, and they're like, here's the line we need you to remember, and we're gonna have you say it, and we don't want you to be nervous because we don't want you to look like a pussy because you're supposed to be a badass.
Well, there's teleprompters. First off, they read from a big teleprompter in the back of the room. There's
Okay,
that. But I
okay,
understand what you're saying.
teleprompter.
You're gonna get nervous. I think they understand that. I think everyone would understand. But I think this is look, and you don't have to use Brian and Mackenzie. But you took two people that are considered to be like some of the better looking people in the sport. I think you should have dressed them up, rolled them out there, and all these celebrities now all of a sudden look and they're like, damn, they're good looking. Damn, how can we get them in our movies? Actually, now they're just people in sweat outfits.
Okay, but don't you think if you're gonna go with the idea of changing them, don't you think like the better idea is to throw them in fight kits, like the tight shorts and for Mackenzie the tight top and then the gloves, so they actually look like they're about to fight?
Like, really, what they did was they rolled them out there as trophies. That's really what it felt like. We said, hey, this is what's for like, it's almost like an auction. They rolled them out there like as it was like an auction, like it just something about it felt like cringe. Not just cringe, but it also felt a little dirty. If you'd have brought them out there as if they were equals with everyone there and said, hey, we're gonna have you guys present an award, whatever, like best fight. I don't know. I have not watched the Golden Globes since I was probably like 7 or something like that. But I think it comes down to like if you would have had like the best action movie, or if you could have given them something along those lines of saying, hey, the best fight scene, the best action movie, the best whatever it was. But you have two good looking people that are two really good fighters and that people can back and get behind. And I also think that if you cart them out there dressed and looking good, it gives the other actors and directors and producers a chance to see them how they would look if they were dressed up, not just in, fight kits. And now I can say, hey, now as the UFC, you can promote them. Like, what if people walked in and said, you're like, hey, you're kind of a good looking guy. Like, we could probably use you in some of our stuff. And now your fighters are becoming even bigger stars. So I just felt like I'm not saying that was a waste. It was a wasted opportunity to get it to the next level. But it seems like they kind of rushed this. I don't know if it was, that's my thought and my process. My thought process on this was that they tried to, this was a last minute decision. What can we do? Well, let's make everyone happy by just putting them out there. And let's get them in fight kits because they're Venom fight kits. Let's get them in UFC gloves. Let's just have them walk in a circle and just make a crack about it. It's we got extra security tonight. That's it. I would have liked if they would have done it. If we're going to go that way, I would have liked if they would have said the old Pride days. What they do is they'd line up all the fighters. They would have rolled out all their champions and say, coming in 2026, the UFC is bringing their best, and just had everyone there with their belt and then their fight kits. That to me would have been, and spotlights on each one would have been huge. That would have been big. Now you have all your champions that are getting promoted. The gold belt, the UFC belt over their shoulder looks amazing. Would look amazing. And then spotlights on them. I think it would have been amazing for them to do something like that. This just felt like you were looking at, I don't want to say you're looking at cattle, but you were like looking at the lamb or the cattle you were going to slaughter. Let me pick that one. Let me pick that. It was just very, very weird. It was very weird, cringe, it just didn't have the effect that I think everyone was expecting it to have. But I also believe that this was a rush situation. That's kind of what I believe. I feel like they slapped it together.
Totally.
And they're trying to do this. And I understand. You don't want to miss this moment. If this is all we could do because we decided to do it yesterday, take it. We'll take it. We'll do it. And I think that's what happened. What else you got?
All right, let's hop into the next one here.
I'm missing the comments, man. I'm missing the comments. I enjoy the comments, but I'm missing it. But it's all right. Go ahead. What you got?
Amanda Nunes makes comment on the fight with Kayla.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kayla responds. So first of all, Amanda says, nobody's going to do anything with my division. So I've got to go in there and make this great again. And then Kayla responds, I don't think she's going to come back after what I do to her on January 24th. I would welcome a rematch, but I'm going to send her back to retirement.
Which is, it's weird. I wonder if they're selling this, because then Amanda Nunes also brought in Larissa Pacheco, who's the only person to ever beat Kayla Harrison. And she beat her in the PFL. In all fairness, Kayla had already beat her, I think, 2 times before that. And it was on the 3rd fight that Kayla had lost to her. Maybe it was a 4th. I don't know. It's 3rd or 4th fight. But it's hard to get motivated for someone you've already beat twice. You beat them, and then you beat them probably like back-to-back years. I think it was like she had beat her the last 2 years in a row or something like that. So it's very difficult to beat that person and get motivated to train for that person again. So in this situation, though, Amanda Nunes and Kayla have trained together at American Top Team. Amanda decided to leave, I believe, right after she lost her Juliana Pena fight the first time. And she went, and then she left. She did her own camp, came back, and she got the win. And I think she had one more fight after that, I believe. I can't remember who it was. I think it was like Amanda Hebet. I don't think it was Hebus. It was somebody else. But she ended up fighting somebody else after that, and she lost. Marina. What's her name? Gosh. Who did she fight? Her last fight. Amanda Nunes' last fight.
Irene Aldana.
Irene Aldana. There you go. So, yeah. And so I think she had left after the Juliana Pena loss. She had left and started her own gym, or she went to another gym. It was a smaller gym. And in this camp, she's bringing in Larissa Pacheco because Larissa Pacheco has trained for Kayla Harrison multiple times and knows what she does well and how she does it and how she sets it up. And I know Amanda Nunes knows that as well. But having another big body frame, and somebody who's, got some punching power, who somebody's got a little bit of grappling, all those things, having that extra big body sparring partner is it helps a lot. It helps having a good sparring partner who's still active as a fighter, who can compete with you. I think it's very smart by Amanda Nunes to do that. So, look, this is a great fight. I think they're looking past this fight for some reason. I don't know why. But if Kayla can't get this fight to the ground, she's going to be in trouble. And if Amanda can't keep her back off the ground, she's going to be in a lot of trouble. So I know it's a contrast of styles, but you could see a potential where Amanda gets taken down early in the fight, but then gets a little bit tired as the fight goes on in rounds 3, 4, and 5. And then Kayla, can't really get the takedowns, but she does, but Amanda doesn't have the power anymore or moments to kind of like just get after her and in the level of aggressiveness to where she can avoid being taken down. She doesn't want to chase after her too much to the point where Kayla gets easy takedowns. But I love the beef that they're starting right now coming up on this. It's a big fight. I just wish they were getting a little bit more publicity because this is a big fight. I think Danny even came out and said this is the biggest female MMA fight ever. I'm not gonna go on that. It's still, I would say it's top 3 or 4 though. 100% top 3 or 4. I still think Cyborg and Gina Carano is the biggest female fight ever. I think that fight is for sure. I think I think Miesha Tate and Ronda was a big fight, huge fight. I think Holly Holm and Ronda was a big fight. I think Juliana Pena and Cyborg was a huge fight. And then this fight has the potential of being a huge fight. It's got to live up to it, though. Those fights lived up to it. The Gina Carano one, you got to give it a little bit of a pass because it was the first female fight as a main event on a major platform in a major organization. So Strikeforce on Showtime, headlining the card, first female fight to ever headline an MMA fight like card like that on a huge platform. Huge. This is big. I love this. I love this fight. I'm looking forward to seeing this fight. I was hoping to get a little bit more love and publicity, but it's not. So the traction is just not quite there. But I'm looking forward to this fight. What else you got, Dave?
How do you feel about it being the co-main, by the way?
It did bother me a little bit when it first announced, but then, I get it. Justin Gaethje and Patty, I think, is going to have a little bit more of an aura about it when they walk out to that cage. Patty got the whole country, they hit all of the UK behind him, supporting him. And Justin Gaethje, I think, is just a fan favorite. Everyone loves him. He doesn't do anything bad. He's had some great fights throughout his career, and you can't say anything bad about him, man. He goes out on his shield. He also puts people out on their shield. So he knocks dudes out, and he's aggressive. He's fun. He's just fun. He's a good dude. He's a good guy, man. So I think people love watching and supporting Justin Gaethje.
Dana was asked about it on Barstool Sports, and he basically he didn't really give an answer. He just said like these are the kind of things we hash out in the war room, and that's just the decision we made was this, and like didn't really give much of an explanation, as if it wasn't a big deal. But there's obviously a lot of people saying interim versus undisputed, like you would never do that.
Can I give you and I? We have sometimes similar views, on things in life. And I think ultimately what you do, this is a man-driven sport.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, if I got done watching Justin Gaethje and Patty Pimblett fight, and I'm not really into female fights, I turn it off. I'm just being honest. Whether some men don't like to watch
personally, but that's the general.
No, not me personally. Like I said, I'm excited for this fight, but I'm just you have to be honest with the public and the fans and everyone watching the show right now. You have to let them know, like, you're gonna lose. I wouldn't say a third, but you're gonna lose some if you put them as the main event after watching the Gaethje and the Patty fight. They're like to themselves going, "All right, I'm good," and they're not really paying attention. They're not really watching. I think there's a chance that you'll see a drop in the numbers, and I don't think they want to take that chance. They want everyone to make sure they tune in for Kayla and Amanda. It's going to be a good fight. I believe it's going to be a good fight. And they want people to see so that they know, like, Amanda Nunes, she comes in and she knocks her out. Well, then they're back to maybe she'll capture them and be like, damn, like, we got to watch her fight next time. This is their opportunity to get new fans. The casual person at home that tunes into Paramount will have an opportunity to get to be a new fan. So we need to see a huge fight. We need to see either Kayla dominate from the top position and ground and pound and chase a submission, or we need to see Amanda Nunes knock her out. So now all of a sudden you've got millions of people now that are fans of either Kayla or Amanda or both. And you know that no matter what, that I think something's going to happen in the Justin Gaethje Patty Pimblett fight. I think Patty's either going to get the takedown and have an opportunity to submit him, or Justin Gaethje's going to catch him, stuff his takedowns, and catch him and knock him the fuck out. That's what's going to happen. You know you're going to have fans that are going to just attach themselves to either one of those guys. So that's kind of where I'm at, I think, on that. That's why I think they put him as the co-main event.
Got it.
That's a hard reality. You know, if you're a female, if you're both these females, you know how much you've given to the sport, but it's a hard reality. It's like a tough pill to swallow, man. Like, damn, like, you know, this is their opportunity. This is the chance. You're on the first CBS Paramount card. You're the co-main event. This is your moment to shine. It's free. Well, it's not free. It's, you know, what, $10 or something. But you know, it's a lot cheaper than the pay-per-views. What else you got?
All right, let's look at the next one here. Chandler and Arman kind of have a little exchange here. Michael Chandler saying he would love to fight him in RAF.
Yeah.
I guess RAF because that's kind of thing right now. But yeah, and Arman had some words for him. So Mike says, I would absolutely smash Arman Tsarukyan in a wrestling match after watching him. And I think he's referring to the Guru thing.
Oh, no. He's talking about Arman wrestled Lance Palmer.
Yeah, okay, in the RAF. Okay. And then Arman says, you said it. Can't run now. Sign a contract. I'm ready to mop the floor with this bum.
Well, I'm Team Arman, man. So I'm Team Tsarukyan. So I think that Chandler can wrestle when it's just straight wrestling. He doesn't wrestle at all when it's fighting. But in straight wrestling, he can wrestle. So you got to give him his due. Do I think Arman beats him? Yes, I do. I think age is a huge deal. You know, when Chandler wrestled Chad Mendes is a great wrestler, really good wrestler. But you know, Chad's not the. I don't think Chad's as big as him. Maybe they agreed upon a weight class, whatever it was. But you know, whatever the weight was. But I think Chad needed more time to get up to that weight, whatever it is you want to call it. But who knows? I think Arman beats him. I think Arman's able to dominate him, actually, to be honest.
Do you think RAF is becoming like the new BKFC with just like the buzz around it? In regards to the buzz, not necessarily obviously the kind of sport that it is, but just this niche sport that has this buzz around it is what I mean.
Yeah, I think it is. I think they're gonna struggle with BKFC is a brutal sport, but it's entertaining as hell. You know, but it's hard to support fighters there because they don't fight more than 2 or 3 times probably in their whole career. It's a brutal sport to the point where like they won't be able to last very long. I mean, their life expectancy is probably just 2, maybe 3 fights, and they'll never fight in BKFC again. It's not sustainable if you are someone who is trying to build stars. It's hard to build stars in the BKFC. You can build stars here, but they actually are already built. The UFC builds them for RAF, and college wrestling builds them for RAF. And you get a couple stragglers in there, right? That are probably like some sort of jiu-jitsu guy or something that you could throw in there occasionally. Or you get guys that come in from overseas that can wrestle a little bit, and you throw them in there. You throw a sambo guy in there. There's people that you can throw in there, but they've already stars somewhere else. UFC built up Arman Tsarukyan. You know, Bilal Muhammad, he wrestled David Carr. Like there's matches to be had, but the star power is already there. Yeah. The promotion, the UFC built them up as stars. And then, you know, NC2A Wrestling has built up these guys, whether it's Bo Nickel, whether it's David Carr, whether it's Jordan Oliver, whatever it is, Lance Palmer. Like wrestling fans, they know their history. They know these guys in NC2As and national champs. They know them. They're fucking nerds when it comes to knowing about wrestling. They love it. Diehards. Let me give you a little story. I was wrestling in Sandpoint, Idaho, and all of a sudden I see like some ruckus going on over in the corner. And apparently there was a parent that was shooting like needles with the, like the little pin needles that go through like for sewing, how you pin up your clothes before you stitch it. On the end of those needles is like a little like wax ball. And he was taking a straw and he was shooting it at the opposing team, which was my team. He was shooting at one of our teammates that was warming up. Just like, this was a grown adult. This wasn't a kid. This was a grown adult. And the guy didn't even have a kid wrestling that day. He was just a guy that lived in the town that came to watch wrestling because he wrestled there when he was in high school. Fucking wild.
That's wild.
Like, and I know that's probably given wrestling fans and parents a bad rap, but it's legit. Like, wrestling dads are fucking notorious for being fucking hard noses and being wild and like lashing out. It's wild. But wrestling itself is a great sport. Builds a lot of character in your athlete and your children. Makes them a lot stronger mentally and physically. So I 100% support what Roth is doing. I love it. I love everything that they're doing. I think it's great. And to be honest, they're not having to worry about building stars. They're already stars, and they get to capitalize on that. It's a great idea. What else?
When I fight here?
Yeah, let's go with Dana White's announcement, man. He came out and had an announcement on his Instagram and said Israel Adesanya is gonna fight Joe Pyfer. And my boy Angelo sent me a text, and he actually posted it. Can you look it up? He posted it on We Want Picks on Instagram. Or not, sorry, not on Instagram, but on X. And we had a little text thread back and forth.
Let's see if I can find it here.
Should be right there at the top.
This one here?
It. No, it's a text thread. Like literally a text. I reposted it too. No, it's not there. Maybe he put it on his own. It's not. Is that We Want Picks?
Let's see. I've got Angelo's. Hasn't posted. Okay. Yeah, this is We Want Picks.
Check mine because I reposted it.
Let's see replies. Oh snap! Give me just a second.
My boy Angelo seems to hate this fight. On the flip side, I love this fight because I'm going to go back into what I talked about when we first started the show. I'm putting my promoter hat on. I'm taking a young guy in Joe Pyfer, and I'm matching him up against basically a first ballot Hall of Famer and a legend in Israel Adesanya. And Izzy wants to stand. Joe Pyfer wants to stand. And I'm giving Joe the opportunity to knock him out and build his name off of him. And I'm giving Izzy an opportunity to knock the young blood out. It's not there.
I'm looking at the replies right now to see if it's there, but no, I don't see it. Oh, is this it right here?
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, let's see.
Let's see here. So the text goes, can you write? You want to read that to me?
Yep. So the text starts. It looks like it's from Angelo saying, "Bad takes tomorrow is about how Izzy v Pyfer is dog shit." You reply, "For you, I love the fight." He replies, "Perfect, let's debate. Won't show my cards and text, but I have way better matchups." You reply, "Be ready to take another L." He replies, and then you're going to go, "That's actually good," and then be silent, and then everyone will be like, "Damn, Angelo really is a genius, and Josh is so short."
And then I hit back with the, what's that guy?
Dr. Evil.
Yeah, Dr. Evil. And he's like, right. He's like, hey, do you mind if I post this? I'm like, no, I don't mind. Bottom line is, I love the fight. Because like I said, Angelo thinks with his biasness. He wants to see, I want this fight. I want that fight. No, man. Like, if you have to put your promoter hat on, what is best for the company? Not best for what you want. What's best for the company? The company's going to always come first because the fighters are going to come and go. As much as I'm all for the fighters. I support the fighters, everything. But this is one of those situations where Izzy's like, look, he may try to wrestle a little bit, but he likes to stand. I got to be careful with the big shot. But Izzy's like, I'm going to go out there and have fun. Izzy had comments recently that said, I put so much pressure on myself to get back to the title. I put so much pressure on myself to defend the title, to do all these things. I'm done doing that. I'm going to do what I did when I came onto the scene and just go out there and just let it go. Fight the way that I love fighting, which is smart. Let it go. Let it hang out. He may lose again. But from the promoter's point is that I can build up Joe Pyfer. He's exciting. He's got big power. He knocks guys out. And it goes back to Laura Senka's comments. They're trying to get fighters who are finishers. If you're not a finisher, you're probably not going to be getting the call. They want to see you try to finish. And Joe Pyfer is that guy to the point where he's got a loss because of that. He tried so hard in the first round, then couldn't get the finish, and then his opponent came back and beat him. Izzy's going to stand, trade, move, stand, trade. Move. He's going to try to avoid the takedown if it does come, but he's going to try not to stand directly in front of Joe Pyfer, and he's going to try to catch him coming in. That's what he's going to do. But I love this fight. Do I think like you just have to know the promoter's point, his position in this is if Izzy wins, I've got a comeback story. If Joe wins, I've got a story I can tell for the future. That's what they want. They've always got to be thinking, who can we build up in this division that's going to make us money later on? Joe Pyfer is one of them. That's it. I love this fight. I understand what they're doing when they put this fight together. What else, Dave?
All right, next fight we got. This one was just announced tonight as well.
Oh, wow. Paulo Costa and Mirzakhanov. Good fight, man. Good fight. I mean, everyone's going to look at Mirzakhanov and be like, oh, well, he's this, he's that. He doesn't have the best body. And then you got the other guy across the cage who's like built like a Greek god. Fucking probably belongs in like Gucci magazine and shit. Like he's ripped, shredded, beautiful chin line, like all this jawline shit. Makes me jealous looking at his ass. And that doesn't, that's saying a lot. Cause I mean, I look at myself every day, so I don't get jealous very often. But like, I'm, pretty good looking still, even at 50 years old. Podcast Dave, though, you seem to be weathering a little bit, man. 3 kids doing you, huh?
What do you
mean? A little gray in the beard, got a little.
I'm almost 40. What do you expect?
Almost 40.
I'm almost as old as you.
Fuck, you're catching up, right? 3 kids will do it to you. Look, this is gonna be a fun fight. Mirzakhanov is gonna have to come forward, make Paulo Costa fight off his back foot. He does not fight as good going backwards as he does coming forward. He's got big power in his hand. Paulo Costa does, but can Mirzakhanov get it done? I think it's a great fight. It's gonna be a fun fight. I like that fight. This goes back to what Laura Senka was saying. Fighters that want to come out and stand in front and trade. That's what they're looking to do, especially it's showing in these first matchups that they put together in the first 4 cards. What else?
All right, next fight here. We have David Martinez versus Chito Vera.
Love it. Big time kicker in David Martinez. Chito Vera, he's got good hands, good boxing, has a tendency to kick with his push kick. I like this fight. I really do like this fight. What it does, it gives me a little bit of that, like, this is David Martinez's opportunity to kind of start steering the ship or directing the ship towards the title. Let me get past Chito, and he can beat Chito. Chito has tendency a lot of the time, to not have enough output and lose these fights that he should have won. Well, David Martinez he's gonna oblige him. David Martinez got really good kickboxing. He's got great kicks. He's good on the feet, good takedown defense. He can also get takedowns if he wanted to. This is one of those matchups that I go back into the Laura Senko thing again. I'm gonna keep saying it. Think about this matchup. There's 2 stand-up guys, they're gonna fight each other. The last fight, Paulo Costa and Mirzakhanov. 2 stand-up guys that are gonna fight each other. That's what we're going to get. We're going to get for these first couple cards. We're going to get nothing but action pack because they have one opportunity, one chance, mom spaghetti, all that stuff, right? To gather new fans. They need to have these fights on the feet. These people that are watching, they're not MMA fans. They're casual or just new fans. So you want to suck them in. Even the casual fans that only watch randomly because they buy a pay-per-view for a big name. No. Now this is their opportunity to get those casuals to finally okay, look, tune in. Tune in every time because it's free or it's cheap now. It's just your Paramount. That's all it is. So this is their chance. This first 4 or 5 cards is their chance and their opportunity, and that's what they're going to look to capitalize on. Is they're really trying to make sure that they capitalize on new fans coming in. So we will see. We will see. What else you got for me?
We got a boxing fight announcement here.
Oh, Barrios and Garcia. Good match, man. Really good match. I'm looking forward to this fight. Garcia been out for a little bit. I don't know how he's gonna look, but Barrios is fun. Barrios is fun for sure. This is, I feel like, a stepping stone for either one of them into a bigger fight. But we're gonna find out. This is, to me, a really fun fight, though. If you love boxing, you'll love this fight. Is it? But did they say? Is it? Yeah, I think it's
Welterweight?
yeah. What's the
Somebody
weight on this?
Welterweight?
Is it welterweight? Okay. But I really look forward to this. I really looked forward to this fight. I'm a Ryan Garcia fan. I really enjoy watching him fight. Got a chance to chat with him and talk to him a little bit when his brother fought on the Fanmio card with Masvidal and Nate Diaz, and he was going through it during that time, drinking and partying and doing the whole thing. But it seems like he's got his life back on track. He's back inside the ring, and it'll be on DAZN, so we got an opportunity to watch it. So DAZN's a good purchase. Cheap purchase, and they've kind of locked down that whole streaming market outside of what the UFC is doing. So DAZN's still the behind the paywall, but they're putting on some good boxing matches. This is a good fight. What else you got?
All right, next last one here before we wrap up is the PFL, Johnny Eblen and Brian Battle.
Yeah, this is a big fight for Brian Battle, man. Coming into the PFL, your first fight into the PFL is gonna be Johnny Eblen. But look, Johnny coming off of his loss. Will Johnny be the same fighter that he was before he lost his title to Costello Vanstinas? A lot of questions to be answered. I'm a huge Johnny Eblen fan, as most of you guys know. He lost his title to Costello Vanstinas. He lost the last 10 seconds of that fight. He got choked out, but he won almost the rest of the fight. I'm not sure if he lost one of the rounds earlier. Might have lost one, but I mean, he pretty much dominated the rest of that whole fight. It gave me flashbacks of the Chael Sonnen / Anderson Silva fight, or you can even go back to like the Carlos Condit and Roy McDonald fight, where Roy dominated Carlos Condit pretty much that whole fight, and then the last, I want to say, the last 10 seconds, Carlos Condit was able to finish him with TKO. And then everyone knows the Chael and Anderson Silva situation. Chael dominated basically 23 and 47 seconds of that fight. And then ends up getting triangle choked by Anderson Silva. In this situation, like, Johnny gave up his back to Costello Vanstinas and got choked with, I think, less than 10 seconds left on the clock. But Brian Battle's got his hands full. Can he stop Johnny Eblen's wrestling? That's one. And Johnny's got great cardio. He's got really good cardio, pushes the pace, very active. But Brian Battle finds a way to battle through. Obviously, a lot of pun intended in that comment, but he battles through pretty well. He can take shots, he delivers shots. He's a grimy fighter, and yeah, I mean, I like the way he fights, man. I can see him working way through to make this a very interesting fight. Is it a 5-round fight? Do we know? Because it's not a title fight. But are they doing 5? Is this a main event? Is it a 5-round fight? It's in Pittsburgh. I can see that. It's March 28th.
First PFL headliner of 2026.
Okay, so it's a headliner. First PFL headline, but is it 5 rounds?
Let's see. I'm trying to find it right now. All events. Wait, actually, it was right here. Let's see. 185. 185. Let's see if it says on the stats here. No, it doesn't specify 5 rounds. It's not a title fight, so I don't know if PFL, they don't typically do.
Yeah.
They
should.
Do.
They should. I think everyone's gotten so accustomed to main events being 5 rounds.
Matchup. Let's see. Let's see if it's. Oh, no, it's the Nurmagomedov one. Wait, it says the first one of 2026, so why is it not? March 28th.
No.
March 28th. It's not the first one then. What are they talking about? No, it doesn't specify 5 rounds or not. As Johnny Eblen versus Brian Battle, 5 rounds. PFL. Let's see if AI has it on here. Yes, Johnny Eblen v Brian Battle on March 28th. PFL Pittsburgh is a 5-round main event, a
There you
standard for non-tournament PFL title fights and
Nice.
major headliners. Even though PFL season bouts are typically 3 rounds, this non-tournament bout is a big step up for Battle against the former Bellator middleweight champion.
Look, I really like what the PFL's doing. You know, I wish they would get a little bit more love and publicity because we need another space for fighters to go to. You know, whether it's fighters coming up and getting an opportunity to fight some guys that are on very similar levels, you know, to build up their confidence, to do whatever, to build up their abilities, and then be able to make the shift over to the UFC if they have the opportunity. But I mean, there just needs to be more spaces, more promotions for these athletes to go to. Like, if you have a problem, like Brian Battle not being in the UFC, like he should still be in the UFC. I know he didn't make weight. I know he fucked up, but you know, he eventually left, went to bare knuckle. Now he's here in the PFL, like all of these things. But I think it's we need places for fighters like Brian Battle to go to. We need places for other fighters that, you know, that are really good, but just have a tendency like to either mess up in the UFC and then they get cut, or you know, Yusuf Zalal, like, yeah, like he left, came back, got some wins outside the UFC, and came back, and now look at him. He's in the top 5 or 6, I think, in the weight class. So we need those promotions to be successful. Otherwise, it's gonna start dumbing down the sport. We're gonna start seeing these guys this can be very just dull and boring. And you can kind of say we've already kind of started seeing that a little bit. The fighters have a tendency now to play it safe, or the fighters, you know, the fights are not as exciting. I mean, we went through a lull for a little bit. I felt like we got out of that towards the end of the year with the great, you know, November card and December card. I felt like we got out of that. We hit the ground running, but the CBS deal right now is dragging. No fights for the last 5 weeks. Fucking brutal. You know, people are just like, okay, like we've been talking about CBS. We're tired of talking about CBS. We want to see fights now. So luckily they come back next week, man. Luckily they come back next week. But I don't know. I'm excited for the fights next week. This is our last weekend without fights. Take it all in. Enjoy it. All of these things. But this is a big deal, man. This is a very big deal that these fighters will have opportunities and chances to make money outside the UFC. I think being on CBS, being on Paramount, being, you know, a face that's on those things, on Paramount, all over it, opportunity to go back into the archives and take a look at, you know, the fights. From what I understand, I haven't looked at it myself, is that you can actually search up a fighter, just search up the fighter and search up every fight he's had. Every fighter has like their own bracket, their own stuff. So like has their own little like hosting channel or page or whatever for them on that position. So on the Paramount app. So it'd be cool. Be cool to see when these guys have opportunities to be in movies, to do more endorsement deals, whether it's with Nike, Reebok, Adidas. It could be clothing lines. It could be whatever, man. Toyota tire, whatever, right? Tire companies. It could be anything. Restaurants, food. I don't know, whatever. But I would love to see these guys and these females have opportunities like that. So these are all opportunities that us older fighters never had. And like I said, I did the interviews today with Vice, and just reflecting back on, you know, where the sport was at the time and where we are now, and how blessed. I know these guys put in work. I know these fighters and athletes put in a lot of work, but damn, they're so lucky. They're in such a great position. They worked hard to get here, you know, but all of us in the beginning, we did too. And these guys, though, they are definitely reaping the rewards. And I know everyone wants to complain about fighter pay, but these guys are fucking making triple, sometimes 3 times, 4 times, 5 times as much as we were in the era that I was in. So I love it. I respect it. And I'm happy for them, you know, and this is their moment, man. The CBS Paramount deal is their moment. They've got this deal for 7 years. This is their opportunity to make a lot of money. So I wish them nothing but the best, all of them. I'm looking forward to, I'm hoping they deliver. I hope these fighters deliver the goods, and they start developing fans and becoming household names. I really do. So nothing else, Dave?
Nope. We'll wrap up there.
All right, man, that's going to wrap it up. And hopefully you guys enjoyed that show. I want to thank you guys so much. Hit that like and subscribe button. And use the link down below in the descriptions for Element. Use that link down below. I want to thank you guys, and we will see you.